In the shadowed world of modern warfare, there are units whose names are never spoken in public, whose missions are never acknowledged, and whose operators leave no record behind when they disappear into history. Among them, one stands apart, not because it is larger, but because it is quieter. Delta Force. Officially, it is known as the 1st Special Forces Operational Detachment Delta. It is one of the most secretive military units on Earth. Its soldiers do not wear unit patches. They do not give interviews. Their operations rarely appear in official statements. And when they do, their involvement is almost always obscured, behind vague language and redacted reports. If you find this story valuable, consider subscribing to the channel. The birth of a different kind of warfare. In the 1970s, the global battlefield was changing. The Cold War had pushed conflicts into the shadows, where small teams, intelligence operations, and political leverage mattered more than tank divisions and bomber fleets. Terrorism, hijackings, and hostage crises were becoming tools of geopolitical pressure. The United States had elite military forces, but none were designed for this new type of warfare. Conventional troops were trained for large-scale combat. Even the Army's Special Forces focused primarily on unconventional warfare and working with foreign armies. But what the U.S. lacked was a dedicated, permanently standing counter-terrorism force. A unit that could deploy at a moment's notice to handle high-risk, politically sensitive missions anywhere in the world. This weakness became painfully clear in 1979, when American diplomats were taken hostage in Iran. A rescue attempt was launched, but it ended in disaster in the Iranian desert. Equipment failed. Coordination broke down. 8 American service members were killed. The failure sent shockwaves through the Pentagon. It revealed a dangerous gap in American military capability. If the United States was going to operate in a world of rapid, unpredictable crises, it needed something new. It needed a unit built specifically for the missions no one else could do. The man who built Delta Force. That responsibility fell to a U.S. Army officer named Charles Beckwith. Beckwith had spent time on exchange with Britain's elite Special Air Service, the SAS. There, he saw how a small, highly trained unit could operate with speed, secrecy, and surgical precision. The SAS was not built like a traditional military force. It was flexible, autonomous, and designed for high-risk special operations. Beckwith returned to the United States, convinced that America needed its own version, a permanent, professional counterterrorism unit that could train continuously and deploy globally without waiting for ad hoc task forces to be assembled. For years, his ideas were resisted. But after the Iran hostage rescue failure, those ideas suddenly became urgent. In 1977, Beckwith was given approval to create what would become Delta Force. The unit would be small, it would be secretive, and it would answer directly to the highest levels of military command. Its mission was simple in description, but almost impossible in execution. Conduct hostage rescues, counter-terrorism operations, and direct action missions anywhere in the world. Quietly, quickly, and with minimal political fallout. Selecting the unselectable. Delta Force does not recruit like other military units. It does not advertise. There is no open application process. Operators are quietly identified from other elite formations across the U.S. military. Army Rangers, Green Berets, airborne units, and occasionally other special operations forces. These soldiers are already highly trained, but that is only the starting point. Those who are invited to attempt selection face one of the most demanding screening processes in the military. The course is designed not just to test physical strength, but endurance, decision-making, and psychological resilience under extreme stress. Candidates navigate long-distance land navigation courses alone, carrying heavy packs across rugged terrain. They receive minimal information and no feedback. They are evaluated constantly, often without knowing it. The goal is not just to see who is strong, it is to see who remains calm, focused, and disciplined when isolated, exhausted, and under pressure. Most do not make it. Those who pass are not told why they were chosen. They are simply informed that they will continue training. From that point forward, their lives enter a different category of secrecy. Training for the impossible. Selection is only the beginning. Those who make it into Delta Force undergo years of specialized training. They learn advanced marksmanship, including firing with both hands, shooting in confined spaces, and engaging multiple targets with extreme precision. They train in close-quarters battle, breaching techniques, and hostage rescue scenarios that simulate real-world environments, aircraft cabins, ships, buses, and embassy buildings. Operators study surveillance, intelligence gathering, and counter-surveillance. They learn how to blend into civilian environments, operate without uniforms, and work in small teams with no external support. Languages, regional knowledge, and cultural awareness are part of their training. Delta Force is expected to operate anywhere on Earth, often without diplomatic cover. Mistakes in these environments do not just cost lives. They can trigger international crises. This is why Delta Force trains not for average conditions, but for worst-case scenarios. Everything is rehearsed until it becomes instinct. In real missions, there is no room for hesitation. A unit without a paper trail. One of the most unusual aspects of Delta Force is how it exists within the military. While it is officially part of the U.S. Army, its operations are often carried out under joint commands or intelligence authorities. Missions may be classified for decades or never acknowledged at all. Delta Force operators may deploy without insignia, without identification, and sometimes without any public record of their involvement. If a mission succeeds, it may be credited to another unit or simply never mentioned. If it fails, it may be denied altogether. This ambiguity is not accidental. It provides the U.S. government with plausible deniability, the ability to act without officially admitting responsibility. In modern geopolitics, that can be as valuable as military power itself. Publicly known operations. Although most of Delta Force's work remains classified, a few operations have become public through historical records, investigations, and official acknowledgments. One of the most well-known was the Battle of Mogadishu in 1993. Delta Force operators, alongside U.S. Army Rangers, were deployed to capture key figures in Somalia's warlord network. What was meant to be a short operation turned into a prolonged urban firefight. 2 U.S. helicopters were shot down, and American forces were trapped in hostile territory. Despite heavy casualties, Delta Force teams played a critical role in defending crash sites, rescuing wounded soldiers, and extracting trapped units. Their actions became part of one of the most studied urban combat engagements in modern military history. A new era of shadow warfare. After the Cold War ended, many believed the age of secret special operations was fading. Instead, it expanded. The attacks of September 11, 2001 reshaped the global battlefield almost overnight. Terrorist networks were no longer distant threats. They were immediate, mobile, and deeply embedded inside civilian populations. Traditional armies could not reach them without causing massive collateral damage. This is where Delta Force became more central than ever. In the years that followed, the unit was deployed across Afghanistan, Iraq, and other regions tied to global counterterrorism efforts. Its missions were not about occupying territory or holding ground. They were about finding and removing specific individuals who represented strategic threats. High-value targets, terrorist leaders, bomb makers, and network coordinators became the focus. Delta Force worked alongside intelligence agencies, particularly the CIA, in what became known as manhunting operations. These were intelligence-driven missions designed to locate targets through signals, human sources, and surveillance, and then move quickly to capture or eliminate them. These operations rarely made headlines, but they shaped the outcome of the wars far more than conventional battles ever could. The hunt for high-value targets. One of Delta Force's defining roles in the War on Terror was its participation in the hunt for key figures within terrorist networks. These missions required a level of speed, secrecy, and coordination that few units in the world could match. Targets often lived in dense urban environments. They moved constantly. They used civilians as cover. Capturing them required precise intelligence, rapid deployment, and flawless execution. Delta Force teams would typically be inserted by helicopter under the cover of darkness. They would breach compounds, secure rooms, identify targets, and extract within minutes. Every detail mattered. A wrong door, a delayed movement, or a missed communication could turn a surgical operation into a disaster. What made Delta Force unique was not just its ability to conduct these raids, but to do so repeatedly across multiple countries, often without leaving any visible trace of American involvement. The Bin Laden Operation. One of the most famous counterterrorism missions in history was the raid that killed Osama bin Laden in 2011. Although it was carried out by Navy SEAL Team 6, Delta Force played a supporting role in the broader intelligence and operational framework that made the mission possible. In modern special operations, no unit works alone. Missions of this scale involve multiple teams, intelligence agencies, surveillance platforms, and contingency forces. Delta Force is often part of that hidden architecture, preparing backup plans, monitoring possible escape routes, and standing ready to intervene if things go wrong. This layered approach reflects how modern warfare works. The public sees a single unit. Behind it is a network of elite forces, each with specialized roles, ensuring that no single failure can compromise the mission. If this content has been helpful so far, please subscribe for more stories like this. How Delta Force operates today. Today, Delta Force remains one of the most tightly controlled military units in existence. Its size, budget, and deployment locations are classified. Even within the U.S. government, only a small number of officials have full visibility into its activities. The unit continues to focus on counterterrorism, hostage rescue, and high-risk direct action missions. It also plays a role in protecting American interests in unstable regions, where conventional forces would be too visible or politically sensitive. Delta Force operators are trained to work with intelligence agencies, foreign special forces, and allied governments. This allows them to operate quietly across borders, often without drawing attention to their presence. In a world where threats move faster than armies, this flexibility has become one of America's most powerful tools. Delta Force is not defined by the battles it wins or the enemies it defeats. It is defined by the moments the world never sees, by the disasters that never unfold, the attacks that never happen, and the wars that are quietly prevented before they can begin. Its operators do not return home to parades or public praise. Their names are rarely spoken. Their missions almost never acknowledged. They move through the shadows with absolute precision, knowing that success means silence, and that the highest form of victory is invisibility. Every operation is carried out with the understanding that history may never record what was done or who did it. Yet behind that silence lies a force that has shaped global security for decades, influencing outcomes without leaving fingerprints, protecting lives without claiming credit. In a world that measures power by attention, Delta Force operates beyond recognition. Its strength is not found in headlines or medals, but in stability, deterrence, and the fragile peace that exists because someone stood watch in the dark. And in the end, that may be the truest measure of its power. Not what is known about Delta Force, but what remains hidden, and what never has to be explained.